All right, so Jeff Skinner is no longer a member of the Buffalo Sabres. The team has bought out his contract. 3 years left on the contract. The Sabres will have to pay Jeff Skinner for the next 6 years. Off the top of my head, it is $1.5 million on the cap this year, so $7.5 million in savings. Next year, it's like $4.5 million in savings, 4.5 on the cap. The year after that, that's the biggest penalty. That's the year where it's like $6.5 million on the salary cap still for Jeff Skinner, and then 2.5 in savings, and then it's $2.5 million on the cap every year after that. That's a lot of mumbo jumbo. Just the numbers are below you here. That'll be a lot easier than just hearing what I said. I'm a little bit surprised that it's happening now. I thought it made more sense to buy out Jeff Skinner in a year. But once we started to hear the rumblings that this could happen, I started to think a little bit more about it. And I understand the decision, but only if the Sabres are going to use the money. If you were buying out Jeff Skinner and clearing $7.5 million this season, you have to be going out and finding a new player that can still score goals. You want a player who can play a much more complete game than Jeff Skinner, but you need another person who can replace the goal production that you are losing. So I'm a little bit surprised, but I'm not shocked that this is ultimately happening. I do think that this allows them to go find somebody who can play more of the type of style that Lindy Ruff will want. You know, he'll want somebody who can play a much more 200-foot game. Jeff Skinner, not much help in the defensive zone or really even in the neutral zone. He's an offensive zone player. They want somebody who can drive play. That's never been Jeff Skinner's game. Jeff Skinner's game has been, hey, I'm going to finish around the net, and I'm going to do it 30 times a year, 30 goals most of the time, and that's why you're going to pay me. And he's had a really good career because of that, played more than 1,000 games. The Sabres need somebody with a different skill set, though. So I'm a bit surprised that it happened now. I thought it made more sense to happen a year from now. But I also think this decision is a clear indication that they are going to try and really field a competitive team this year and that they are going to be aggressive over the next couple weeks. You do not do this if you don't plan on going out and trying to make a trade for a legitimate top six forward or trying to go sign somebody in free agency who you really think is going to help you. That is what the Sabres need to do. Anything less would be a disappointment, and anything less just wouldn't make sense given how much money they just cleared on their salary cap this year. I know the ramifications of the buyout are going to be handcuffs on the Sabres for the next couple of years, really in year 2 and year 3, especially year 3. But the salary cap should rise, so this should not be as much of a nuisance as it maybe just appears on paper because the salary cap is going up, but still something that we are going to have to think about. The Sabres don't buy out players often. It's been a long time since they've done that. So in just closing, you better use the money. You've got $7.5 million more to spend. You've got $31 million in total cap space. Even if you go give Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Peyton Krebs, and Henri Jokiharju new deals, you're still looking at probably $22 million in cap space. You better go find some players with that money, and you better make your roster better. I think they will, but they have to.